Hello and welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Ali and here I just talk to myself about books, and then someone, maybe you, may or may not watch this at a later date. As you can see today, I am not at home, I'm not with my usual backdrop, and that's because I am in Canada. So I'm here for a couple of weeks and I thought it would be fun to do a little bookish day out in Canada. As you can see, the weather is very, very cold. There is snow. So first things, we just need to get all bundled up, but let's go. Just thought I'd quickly show you my view and the snow. But yes, very excited to get started. I have not yet been round at all the bookshops near here, so I'm excited to go. Okay, so this is the fit for our bookish day out. As you can see, it's very cold outside, so bundled up, got a couple of layers on, got my thermals, boots, nice loose jeans, and my winter coat and hat. And most important of all, I've got my little Labubu friend to keep me company as we go searching for books. So let's go. Hey, I have returned from my travels. Hopefully the footage that I've put in before this is cute. So I went to a couple of bookstores, walked around Ottawa. It's very cold and wet, the snow is melting, so wasn't the best weather to be out, but I did want to go to the independent bookstore that I went to, and then also Indigo in the big shopping mall. So I hit both up, and I did come back with some books. So let's do a mini Canada book haul. So first of all, it's actually a random book I got the other day when we went to Montreal. And it wasn't from any of the bookstores that I mentioned. It was actually from the Warhammer store. And that is the Horus Rising, which is, I believe, the first book in the Horus Heresy series, Warhammer. Now, I've never played Warhammer. I don't know really anything about Warhammer, but my partner loves it. He's obsessed with Warhammer 30k and Warhammer 40k and has read like, I don't know how many books by now, like hundreds. And he really rates Dan Abner in particular. And he's been asking me for ages to like give it a go and just try and read one. So I decided I would. Also because it is such a cute little book. It's like one of those like 80s kind of like paperbacks, which I'm obsessed with. I do have another couple here because I love them, especially for like fantasy books. They're like those like mass paperback ones. But yeah, so this is the book. It's a bit ugly, as in the people are ugly. But yeah, so I have no idea what this is about, but he said this is the good place to start. I say start, I don't know how many I'll be reading, but I will at least read one. You know, I should probably do at least that. I will quickly read the blurb, but I don't know. At the dawn of the 31st millennium, the Imperium of Man has reasserted its dominance over the galaxy. It is a golden age of rediscovery and conquest, and the Emperor's Great Crusade has placed superhuman Primarch sons at the head of the mighty Space Marine legions, the most powerful military force ever assembled. Newly promoted to serve as the Emperor's War Master, the idealistic Horus now stands above his brothers, even as the Crusade enters what must surely be its final stages and dark cosmic truths begin to reveal themselves. Far beyond the alien threat of malignant Xenos breeds and rogue human civilizations, a war now looms that could threaten the final extinction of mankind. So I understood like maybe 10% of what I said, but my understanding is it's like a dystopian sci-fi, like grimdark fantasy novel, which is like set, well, 30,000 years into the future, I think, or is this one 40,000? I have no idea, but it's set thousands and thousands of years into the future. There's like loads of different like factions, and yeah, it's very bloody and gory and everyone's horrible, but I did say I would give it a go, so I will give this a go. So first shop I went to today was Perfect Books in Ottawa. This is an independent bookstore, you can see here, and yeah, I just wanted to find some books by Canadian authors, but in particular books maybe surrounding kind of like the Indigenous or First Nations kind of experience here in Canada. So they had a whole stand of these books, and I also asked for help from the booksellers, and I came back with a few different titles. I'll go through like the random one first, because this is a book I needed for book club, and that is Real Americans by Rachel Kong. We picked this as our book club our book club pick for I believe we're meeting in May, but this is like the book club that I have with like a couple of friends from work, and so yeah, we just decided to read this one. I don't really know too much about it, but it's a family saga. I think it's like set in New York, but it follows a Chinese family as they kind of move to America. So I will quickly read the top of the blurb, but on the precipice of Y2K in New York City, 22-year-old Lily Chen is an unpaid intern at a slick media company meets Matthew. Matthew is everything Lily is not: easygoing, effortlessly attractive, a native East Coaster, and most notably heir to the vast pharmaceutical empire. Lily couldn't be more different. Flat broke, raised in Tampa, the only child of scientists who fled Miles' Cultural Revolution, and yet Lily and Matthew fall in love. Yeah, so, and then I think like it follows like their children, etc. But yeah, I'm really excited to read this. I love a family saga. It's got very good reviews, and it was like one of the top ones to read, so here we go. So as I mentioned, I really wanted some books that kind of spoke to like Indigenous experiences, and just a bit more, to gain a bit more understanding of like First Nations and Indigenous peoples experience here in Canada. So I asked the booksellers what they recommended, and they gave me a few different titles. So first of all, we have Braden's Sweetgrass, which they said is like a staple must-read basics when it comes to Indigenous literature, and I think this is non-fiction, written by Robin Wall Kimmerer, who is a scientist, decorated professor, and an enrolled member of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation. I've probably said that completely wrong. But yes, I'll quickly read the blurb of this as well. So, as a botanist, Robin Wall Kimmerer has been trained to ask questions of nature with the tools of science. As a member of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation, she embraces the notion that plants and animals are our oldest teacher. In Braden Sweetgrass, Kimmerer brings these lenses of knowledge together to show that the awakening of a wider ecological consciousness requires the acknowledgement and celebration of a reciprocal relationship with the rest of the living world. For only when we can hear the language of the other beings are we capable of understanding the generosity of the earth and learning to give our own gifts in return. So that sounds really interesting. Next, I picked up Bone Black by Carol Rose Golden Eagle. This is, I think, a fiction book. Yes, this is a fiction book which I think explores the kind of pandemic, I guess, of or epidemic, what would you call it, of Indigenous women that have kind of gone missing or are murdered, that are not represented in like mainstream media, and their stories are kind of never told, never heard, and no one really like looks into them as much as they would if it perhaps was a white woman that had gone missing. So this story follows Wren. So Wren is devastated when her twin sister Raven mysteriously disappears after the two spend an evening visiting a local pub. When Wren files a missing persons report with the local police, she is dismissed and becomes convinced that the case will not be properly investigated. As she follows media reports, Wren realises that the same heartbreak she's feeling is the same for too many families, indeed for whole nations. Something within Wren snaps and she decides to take justice into her own hands. She soon disappears into darkness, struggling to come to terms with the type of justice she delivers. Throughout her choices and every step along the way, Wren feels as though she is being guided, but by whom? So yeah, this sounds really, really good, really interesting, and I think it'll be like really heart-wrenching and just, I don't know, thought-provoking. Yeah, I'm excited to read this. It sounds really good. Next, I have One Native Life by Richard Wagamies. This is a memoir by this author, who is an author of a lot of other books. I think it's like one of the most popular authors, or at least has written like quite a lot of different books. I think he wrote, oh gosh, I don't know if there's a list of other books he's written, but yeah, I think he wrote, there was one called like about a horse or something, I can't remember what it's called, but I believe he's written like a lot of books, but this is his memoir. So it kind of follows his story as, you know, his childhood, kind of being abused and abandoned, and then growing up and trying to find a place in the world, moving to like different parts of Canada, and then kind of what he's learned in the past like 50 years of being alive. So yeah, I thought this one was quite interesting. I love memoirs. I find it really easy then to understand more about like other people's experiences when it's told through a memoir, because, well, it's a first-hand account in most cases, and it's not fictionalized, so it just makes me like, I don't know, engage with it more in a way that makes me really think about that person, more so than if it was a fictional story. But I'm really interested to read this and find out more about the experience of Richard. And last book I got from Perfect Books is Seven Fallen Feathers by Tanya Talaga. This is a non-fiction book that explores the kind of systemic racism and, well, ongoing racism that exists in Canada when it comes to First Nations or Indigenous peoples. And it just gives, I think, an account of like history and also like current day situations. So again, this is one that the bookseller really recommended. They said this is like a bestseller, but also it's like a really important one to read. So I thought I would give it a go, and we'll see what I learn. And then I went to Indigo, which is, I guess, like the Barnes and Nobles or Waterstones of Canada. I think it's like, I've seen it a lot, so I think it's probably like the most popular bookshop in Canada. But correct me if I'm wrong down below in the comments. But yes, I thought I had a, they gave me a bookmark because I went the other day. So I did actually do 2 trips to Indigo. And then I had like a 20% off voucher that was valid from today till like the 6th of April. So I thought, why not use that, you know? But so first of all, when I went the other day, I was just having a little look. I wanted some of these like really cute mass paperback. And I really find I'm obsessed with them when it comes to like the fantasy ones. So I had a little look, decided to pick up one of Brandon Sanderson's standalones because can we just look how cute this is? Like, I'm obsessed. I am obsessed. So this is Elantris, which I've heard is like one of his first books and also a standalone, and also one of like the best like epic fantasies when it comes to like Brandon Sanderson. So yeah, I thought I wanted to pick this up. I'm still really scared to get into Brandon Sanderson just because there's so many books, but I do have now like 3 standalones of his, so I should probably start reading them. So I might start with this one, or I might start with one of the ones I've got at home, which are You, Me and the Nightmare Painter, or Tress of the Emerald Sea. But I absolutely adore this. Like, they don't make these in the UK, and it just looks like straight out of like the 80s, 90s, and I'm obsessed with it. And also it's so small and cute. But yeah, so that's one of the ones I picked up the other day. And then I also picked up another tiny book, and that is The Queen of Blood by Sarah Beth Durst. This is one I've not heard of before, but again, it's another one that I thought was really cute and stunning. And I looked up like different fantasy, like epic fantasy stories, and this one came up with some good reviews. So I will quickly read the back. I did think it was going to be a standalone, but I've just noticed now after buying it that it says book 1 of the Queens of Renthia. So I guess there'll be others. I wanted standalones because obviously I don't live here in Canada. You can't get these in the UK, and I don't like having mismatched books. So we'll see what happens. Maybe I'll have to come back at some point to get the sequels if there are more. But yes, so everything has a spirit: the willow tree with leaves that kiss the pond, the streams that feed the river, and the wind that exhales fresh snow. But the spirits that reside within this land want to rid of all humans. One woman stands between those malevolent spirits and the end of humankind, the Queen. She alone has the magical power to prevent the spirits from destroying every man, woman, and child. But queens are still only human, and no matter how strong or good they are, the threat of danger always looms. So that sounds really good, really interesting. I love an epic fantasy story, and I've been wanting to read more like, you know, traditional fantasy rather than fantasy romance or romantasy, because I have been reading a lot of that recently, and I kind of want to try and expand a little bit more into like the stereotypical fantasy, epic fantasy stories. So yeah, I thought this one sounded really good. The reviews are really good, and I'm excited to give it a go as well. Next is a book I've had my eye on for like literally years, and I just never picked it up, and I don't know why. But I recently read the 7 Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires, and I'm obsessed. Like, I loved it. The writing style was just perfect. There wasn't like nothing bad to say about that book at all. Like, I absolutely adored it. So I obviously picked up My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix. This, as I said, is one that I saw like years ago, and I really wanted to pick it up. I then saw some like mixed reviews, but since then I've had another look. I think I will really enjoy his writing. It's quite like funny to me. It's almost like mocking some of the situations, but this one is kind of like set in the 80s, 90s, and follows 2 girls who are in high school, and one of them becomes possessed by a demon, I guess, and yeah, there's an exorcism going on. But this sounds really, really fun, and as I said, I love his writing, so I'm pretty sure I'm going to enjoy this as well. And I do have the School of Witchcraft. Is it the School of Witchcraft? Or is it Witchcraft for Wayward Girls? Witchcraft for Wayward Girls at home, like the new hardback. So I wanted to read some of the backlist as well. And this was like top of my list for Grady Hendrix. But yeah, super excited to pick this one up. And also, I'm obsessed with this cover. Like, and it's one of those big paperbacks. Like, I didn't think I liked them, but for some of these I really do. I think it just really works. So I guess I like paperbacks of all shapes and sizes. I don't discriminate, what can I say? Next, I picked up a book from an author that I haven't yet tried, but I've been really wanting to for a long, long time. And that is T. Kingfisher's A House with Good Bones. I love this cover. I think it's completely different from the UK one. I'll try and put up a little snippet of what the UK cover looks like. But this one, I love it. It's so like gross and harrowing and like I think they're like vultures. But yeah, so this is kind of like a gothic horror type story set in like the south of the US, and follows a family and kind of like what lurks beneath that standard like perfect family life. But yeah, so again, I'm super excited to read this. This is one I've heard, again, some mixed things about. But I did want to pick this one up before I picked up Nettle and Bone for some reason. I don't know why, but I don't know. This one just sounded more interesting. Maybe it's because I've just read the 7 Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires, and I'm just like, I need to read about like horror in the South. I don't know. But yeah, super excited to give this a go. And again, I absolutely love the cover. Talking about US covers, I saw, and I think you might have seen on like the previous snippets I put in this video, I saw the US edition of Empire of the Vampire and Empire of the Damned, and I love the covers that exist here compared to like the UK covers. I'm obsessed with them, but I just could not bring myself to buy them because I already own both books, and then I wouldn't be able to get the third one to match because I don't live here. But it hurts me because it is such a beautiful edition. Like, I love the art style. I love that they're like massive paperbacks, and yeah, I'm very sad. So I don't know, maybe I'll go back and get at least the first one because it is pretty. But we'll see. Do I need to have 2 copies of the same book? Probably not. Probably not. Okay, and then last but not least, we have Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. I have heard nothing but good things about this author, but I have never read anything by her. And I thought, I've got quite a lot of like heavy topics or like fantasy books, so I thought maybe like a nice romance novel would be good, especially as we head into spring, although you can't really tell here, but I'm hoping when I land back in the UK it's a bit warmer than when I left it. But yes, I had a look at like the different ones that Abby Jimenez has, and this is the one that stood out to me the most, that I wanted to read based on the blurbs. Some of the other ones didn't really interest me as much, although I know that they have really good reviews, but I thought just to try out the writing style that I would start with this one. I know that they're kind of like part of like some interconnected series, but I don't think it really matters too much if you don't read them in order. So I thought I'd give this one a go. When it comes to love, Emma is cursed. Every guy she dates finds his true love after they break up, but it turns out that she's not the only one afflicted with this condition. His name is Justin, and his Reddit thread about being love's good luck charm has gone viral. Now the two have come up with an ingenious plan. If they date each other, their curses will cancel out and they'll go on to find their soulmates. Only Justin wasn't supposed to be so unbelievably cute and hilarious, but when Emma's toxic mother shows up and Justin has to assume guardianship of his 3 siblings, they're suddenly navigating a lot more than they expected, including catching real feelings. Has fate finally brought the perfect pair together, or will their cure be way more hazardous than the curse itself? I just thought that sounded good. It sounds like a better version of Good Luck Chuck. I don't know if anyone ever saw that movie, but it had like Jessica Alba in, and this is exactly what happened. Like, women would like sleep with this guy called Chuck, and then they would find like their true love afterwards. But yeah, so this is my, I say little, this is my little book haul from Canada. I don't think I'll be getting any more books while I'm here because I don't think I have the luggage allowance to fit anymore. But yeah, here we are. I think that's a pretty good haul. And I am going to probably read some of these. I'm still here for another week, so got nothing better to do. Let me know if you've read any of these books, what you thought about them, if you liked them, if you hated them, if you recommend any others by those same authors or any other books in general. Please pop that down below. If you enjoyed this video, pop a like. If you would like to see more, please subscribe, and I'll see you soon.